Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. I want to welcome you out here to my shop. I've got Tiff Tough Bermuda that I sodded 4 months ago, 5 months ago, something like that, back to late summer. And during the mowing season, I'm going to be maintaining this around 1/2 inch. And you know, I've said it before, I like to let it get bushy and shaggy before it goes into winter to kind of protect the ground. I said I wasn't going to mow it, but I couldn't resist. I couldn't stand it no longer. I had to cut it. I ended up cutting it around 2 inches. So, you know, in relation to my maintenance mowing at 1/2 inch, it's still bushy and shaggy. But I got here and kind of give it a clean cut. And it's actually, believe it or not, it's grown just a little bit between today and when I cut it last week. You know, Bermuda's getting ready to go dormant. This will be paper sack brown after the first frost. And when we get back into the springtime and things start to heat up, ground temperatures heat up, days get longer, this will begin to green up. And when we do that, we're going to sand level it, and we'll bring in some sand and compost. While I was at the GIE, I ran into these guys, GCI Turf tools, I think is the name of them. And I bought their leveling attachment that goes on a 3-point hitch. And of course, you know, I got a Ventrac, so I'll be using it on that. You use it for sand leveling. It's got these roller teeth thing on it that kind of pulls along with the implement. And it'll act as almost like a verticutter in a way for the Bermuda and Kentucky bluegrass. I'll be using it on my bluegrass at the house too. But I think it's pretty cool that you can level an area and at the same time you know, it acts like a verticutter. So I'm pretty excited to use that in the springtime. Of course, I can't do that now. That's a springtime project. But what I do want to do is walk you through the steps of what I did this fall to make the property look good for the wintertime. Now I realize my friends far north, this might not apply to you because you probably deal with snow and a lot of it. Well, here in North Carolina, we get some snow from time to time, but nothing remotely close to what you guys deal with. So I'm able to prep the yard out here, and for the most part, it'll look like this all winter other than the Bermuda going brown. So there's 2 types of edging in lawn care. One, I call it maintenance edging, and the other one is bed edging. Okay, maintenance edging is where you can use a string trimmer, and during your routine mowing or your routine visits to a yard or something like that, you can take and edge out the grass where it meets the natural area and give you a really nice, clean, edged out look. The other one is bed edging, and in this case, I use my redefiner because I reel mow this. So I don't want a super deep edge from where my grass and my pine needles meet. It cuts about a 2-inch deep groove. They make several different machines that you can use, or you can use a shovel. I've used a shovel many times. And at the end of the day, you get the same result. I'm a once a year kind of guy on my bed edging. I'll clean them out, redefine them, reshape them, and then I can lay my mulch or my pine needles down. And you know, I originally went with mulch over top of the bare dirt simply to, you know, help control erosion and that kind of thing, give me a good firm base. And now moving forward, it'll be nothing but pine needles. You know, I'm a pine needle kind of guy. Now, what are the advantages mulch over pine needles? Well, I really don't think one's better than the other or one serves a different purpose than the other. It's all about personal preference for me, and I personally prefer the look of pine needles for the most part. Any pruning that needs to be done, you can get out there and get your pruning done as long as it's horticulturally correct for that time of the year. You don't want to go out there and just prune whatever just so you can say, hey honey, I pruned the shrubs today. That's a no-go in my book. You want to make sure things are done in a horticulturally correct manner. Something else I like, and y'all know I'm a big time fan of color. I like annual color, and right now is the time where we would plant pansies or viola, and those would stay in the ground from fall of the year all the way up until spring. And then come spring of the year, as long as there's no chance of frost, you would rotate those out and plant your summer annuals. When you plant your pansies, do not forget to feed them. I personally prefer the whole gardener fertilizer, where I can kind of custom blend my NP and K and micros to the way I want them. And what I found, a 1-2-1 ratio, 1 nitrogen, 2 phosphorus, 1 potassium. The pansies absolutely love it. Not to mention my summer flowers did as well. If you're interested in the whole gardener, I'll link it up in the description. It'll be there, you can check it out. Now something else I like to do is take a straight edge tool and tamp my pine needles down along this edge right here. That helps to give me a really good clean look. If you got a cool season yard, you want to make sure you get that winterizer down. I like a heavy shot of nitrogen, a heavy shot of potassium going into the winter. I'll be using the 19-0-19 protein on my yard, my bluegrass, and my fescue, and my neighbor's yard that's got fescue. You can read more about that in the description below if you want to check it out. Now Bermuda, I'm done fertilizing for the year. I ran the protein 0534 on it about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So it's done. It's got what it needs to get through the winter. When it wakes up in the springtime, that's when I'll start feeding it again. So hey, that's all I got. Hope that helped. Just some little tips and tricks, I guess, to kind of get your yard looking good for the winter. And heck, most of you probably already have your yard looking good for the winter. Now my yard at home, I typically just do my pine needles once a year. Here I'll do them twice a year because it's such a small spot, but at the house, that's a different story. It takes a couple hundred bales and that's a big expense. So usually one time early spring is when I do my pine needles at the house. So let's go through a checklist. Pruning that needs to be done, if any. Get your beds edged out or redefined, cleaned up. Plant you some fall color, winter color in the form of pansies or viola. Get you some fresh mulch down, fresh pine needles, whichever one you prefer. And give your yard a nice clean cut. If you're able to get all that done, I don't see no reason why your yard shouldn't look great for the fall and winter. Be sure and subscribe to the channel, like and share the video, all that cool stuff. As always, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. I'll check you later.